In a world where there are too many comic books to keep up with, one podcast has the stones to bring you all of your comic book needs. Week by week. Book by book. One epic show. You are now tuned in to Nerd Church Radio.
Hello and welcome to NCR DC Communion, episode number 13. I'm your host, Ben Dupay.
This is Noah O'Toole.
And I am Ariel Dupay.
And we are your DC comic book overlords. So, how's everyone doing this week?
Pretty good. Pretty hot.
Holy shit, man.
It's a heat wave. Yep.
I opened my front door and I feel like I'm opening my oven when it's on low. Like,
Yeah.
I seriously, like, I get a backdraft of just heat. It's
You do.
terrible.
It's supposed to get in the hundreds.
I know the middle of next week's going to be even worse. Yeah.
It literally, like, makes me nauseous to go outside right now. Like,
I know.
I've stopped smoking as much because I just don't want to go out there and deal with the heat. And smoking out in the heat is just like, ugh, it's gross.
At least we're not in California where everything's on fire.
Right.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's
gosh.
true. Yeah, that is true. So, you're gearing up for finals week like I am, right?
Yeah, I luckily don't have much in the way of finals other than one paper that will be due.
Nice.
So yeah, that's not too bad. I'm just mostly glad that there's going to be a little bit of a break in
Before
between
fall.
now and fall. Yeah, so
3
I'll try
weeks,
and enjoy
right?
it. Yeah, yep.
Nice, yeah.
Have you already
that's
signed
nice.
up for fall classes?
Yeah, I'm
now?
all ready to go for fall
How far
classes.
away are you from?
I should just have 2 semesters left. And I'll
Nice,
have my
congrats.
double certificates, thanks, because web development and digital marketing.
Sweet. That's awesome. Yeah, I still haven't filled out my FAFSA yet.
Oh, yeah.
I need to get on that.
Yeah.
Like, probably tonight, actually,
Yeah.
was my plan.
Yeah,
I think I should have time. Like, you generally, as long as you do it 2 weeks before classes
Well,
start.
and especially if you've already applied before.
Yeah,
you know,
like
your
I'm an
second,
existing
third, subsequent
student.
times.
Yeah.
You're right, a lot quicker.
I always say I'm going to do it in January, and then I always wait till the last minute and do it.
Yeah.
So that's how it goes. So, good week for comic books this week. I
Yes,
felt like
it was.
fairly decent week. I don't know, like
There were. I'm sure we'll talk about, but I felt there were a lot of things that they picked from like way old, like long time ago, like well, I'm sure we'll talk about it. So.
Oh, that's okay.
But,
yeah, you can go do. What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Oh well, like for instance, we'll just use like the cover of Red Hood and the Outlaws.
Dude,
This
that
week
was such a cool cover.
Completely paid homage to the death of Superman.
Yeah,
with
it
the
did.
back, and
Yeah.
there was just a ton of those little things I felt this week in a lot of the different books.
That was pretty cool that they did that.
I'll have to get your guys' opinion. I swear I saw 2 old ladies from like my childhood in Red Hood and the Outlaws. That old woman reminded me of Tweety Bird's caretaker.
Granny.
Granny,
Yeah.
yeah. And then
yeah.
did you ever read
Magan.
Wayside School?
Huh.
Like the mean old teacher. There was another book. I have to remember which one it was.
Yeah.
I swear it was that teacher. And I'm
Right.
like, is this doing on purpose or?
Yeah. That's
Yeah, it was a good week. How do you? I'm anxious to hear how you felt about Wonder Woman. 'Cause,
Oh, right. Yep.
Yeah, I guess we'll get into that later. Big change.
Yeah.
Very, very big change for sure. But we'll talk about that later. For now, we'll just get into some news. All right, so for news this week, I'm actually going to defer to my better half here, Ariel. What do you got for us for news this week?
So we kind of touched on the whole DC Comics streaming services. They've just talked about Teen Titans Titan Season 1 will be 13 episodes long, which is a change from the usual 22 to freaking 33 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but that's a live action show too, right?
No, this one is the cartoon. They're trying to get Teen Titans into live action.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they announced like a live action Titans or
Teen
Teen
Titans.
Titans,
It's Teen
one
Titans.
of the two. It is.
Warner Brothers and DC Comics are working really hard to get Teen Titans into live action. Meanwhile, Titans will still be a cartoon, and it will debut the same time as Season 3 of Young Justice.
Oh,
excellent.
cool. Awesome.
Something else I'm really excited about. DC is going to have a 80-page horror anthology, one shot from DC titled DC House of Horrors.
Fun.
I'm
That's
so
awesome.
excited. So Martha Kent's fight for her life against a creature from a spacecraft that lands in front of her farmhouse. A young woman is possessed by the spirit of a murderous Amazon warrior. The last surviving member of the Justice League faces down a horror beyond imagining. And they released a couple pictures, and horror is my thing. I freaking love it. So I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
We'll have to talk about it on air for sure.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
And that comes out October 25th. Which, can you believe that like Halloween and Christmas are just around the corner?
Well, they're already I wouldn't say just around the corner because that's too scary for me right now.
Yeah.
But they are starting to solicit things for all of that stuff
It's
now.
crazy
So it's that
when you
we're
think
turning
of
a corner.
We're getting closer for
we
sure.
just went through the holiday
Yep.
season.
Yeah.
One more thing is, did you see the new War of the Planet of Apes?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
So it's really spectacular, and the director of that is actually going to direct the Batman movie. They've confirmed that they're starting from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, they're ditching Affleck's script.
yeah,
Right, I heard,
completely. And I was a little sad because Joe Manganiello,
Manganiello, yeah.
so he might not be Deathstroke, which kind of sucked.
I don't know,
thought
man.
he
I
was
think
cool.
they'll still keep like the characters.
That would be very wise on their end because that seemed to go over so well with fans.
Yeah.
A lot of people were really happy about that. So
And Matt was talking about how he's just spent 3 years working on War of Planet Apes. So they're not even thinking about working on this yet. So who knows when we'll get it. He said he wants a break before he starts working on it.
Right.
yeah, I don't know. I we'll see, man. I'll hear about it. I'll see after next weekend because we got San Diego Comic-Con coming up, and I feel like we're definitely going to get a slate of movies announced from DC because we have nothing right now. Like everything that they set in stone is like questionable. The only thing we know for sure that's coming out anymore is Aquaman. So
Right.
I don't know. I feel like we're going to get some answers and maybe some surprises in San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah,
So.
and I have a quick bit of add-on news to that. They've and this, of course, is again something that is definitely nothing set in stone. But there's been a lot of discussion of the Wonder Woman sequel because it's obviously still running strong. It's like the most.
Yeah.
It's held its spot the strongest for the last 15 years for the superhero genre. Continuing making money and stuff. So, of course, they're working on a script, and Patty Jenkins is. It looks like she's coming back, but she hasn't actually put her name on a piece of paper or anything. But it is looking like she's on board. But the current thing now that just seems to be it is that it's going to be set in the 80s this time.
Yep,
and that she's going to put an end to the Cold War. Yeah. So I mean. Sure, that's interesting. I'm a little on the fence. They could absolutely make it work. It was definitely not what I was expecting. Let's just put it that way. But I could certainly see it opening, the door for like a cheetah character. Any of the three versions of the cheetah could fit into an 80s thing, and maybe even Dr. Cyber. Because with getting into computer age and things like that. But
I just I feel like we already did the period piece, so now I want to see it go current.
See, that I'm a little on that, and to be honest. It just kind of reinforces one of the only things I didn't really like about the movie, and it wasn't anything the movie did. It just implied that she sat out World War II. Yeah. And it's like, okay, so you decided that World War II wasn't important enough to fight, but we'll go stop the Cold War with the Russians. Yeah. But maybe they'll address World War II. I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, that she, the first one was great, so I'm not, but
we're obviously super early in production on that one. I mean, not even in production.
Yeah, in talks, but
yeah.
And we're going to see her in Justice League. So I feel like once we see her there, we're going to want her from now on. No more of her past.
I felt the way they handled the Captain America. I mean, everyone jumps to Disney, but it's just because they're so damn good at the superhero genre right now. Is I feel like the way they handled Captain America, the First Avenger, and then went directly into this political thriller for Winter Soldier. That was smart, and I feel like that was the perfect blend of. And I mean, it sucks because they don't want to follow Disney's path and look like they're trying to be like Disney. But at the same time, it's a really successful template that's worked really well.
And I just feel like today's world, society, and culture just has a lot of sexism and just the way humans in general are treated, and I think she can really have a humanitarian mission in today's society that would really be powerful. But
there's so many messages for today's society and like how divisive people are and stuff that like I don't know, man. You could just do so much with that. Like I don't know.
It'd be very impactful to see her like in the Middle East.
Right, I agree.
Like right now.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool.
I really do hope they don't like try to bring back old man Steve Trevor.
And that's the other thing too is that Chris Pine's still contractors and all this thing, and boy, that would just really bum me out unless it's in the form of a flashback or a memory or something like that.
Yeah. But then even then, man, like we saw her entire like relationship with him. There's no real point of having a flashback because. I mean, we saw it all. We were there for the whole thing. So.
I was there.
Right, exactly, yeah.
I don't know. There's just...
And plus, it would almost lessen his impact and the sacrifice and what caused all that to catapult into her, unleashing her full powers and, just kind of, diminish that a little bit. So
it's kind of like in The Dark Knight Rises when, like, oh my gosh, Batman dead. Oh, no, he didn't.
Right.
Yeah. So.
One more piece of news. We're getting another Batman title. Coming in November 1st, my birthday. For our listeners out there, just remember that. Batman, the Dark Prince Charming. The interesting thing is the creator of this is Enrico Mario, and he's only done stuff in Italian. So it'd be kind of cool to get like a culturally different view of Batman.
Cool.
I don't know if there's much about it.
What's it called again?
Batman, the Dark Prince.
Okay.
There's a mysterious young girl and she's kidnapped by the Joker. Batman must plunge deep into the underworld of Gotham City and race against time to find out where she's being held. So, I don't know, there's not much about it. The art, I don't know if this is previews or whatever, but it looks kind of cool. So.
I wonder if it's like Otherworlds or, I don't know. Like, I get kind of tired of the Batman Otherworlds
stuff.
They
just have so many titles.
There's just so many Batman.
Yeah, there really is. And like, I really, I don't know. I only like the main one. I mean, Detective Comics is alright, but like, I don't know. I just feel like there's so many other Bat Family characters you could like go with and make it cool. So
yeah,
that's cool.
That's it for news.
That's it. That's all you got. You got any news now?
Nope, that was it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good deal. Well, we will move on to some book reviews. All right, so first up for book reviews this week, we have, and just so I can write down my timestamp here, I always do this, and I always call it out. That's awesome. All right, we got Superwoman. Wow, Superwoman number 12. Anyone got a creative team on this?
Perkins,
Segovia, Thiebert, and Hi-Fi.
Yep.
Sorry about that. So, Superwoman failed to take down Skyhook, and now she has to learn to deal with that failure. And what better way to do that than to go and try and get her powers back? While this is happening, Atomic Skull is cracking more bad guy skulls and being totally polite while he's doing it. Seriously, this guy is like my favorite part of this entire book. It's awesome. The criminal that Atomic Skull helped to apprehend gives the cops some info on the whereabouts of Crash, which, if you don't remember, is Zeke's dad. And then we jump over to, and Bandicoot's brother, and then we jump over to, really? No one got that? Crash Bandicoot?
Crash Bandicoot, yeah, I get it.
All right. And then we jump over to, then we jump over to Crash. He's super depressing and just knows the second that he surfaces back into the real world, he's going to be sent back to jail. So he decides to go out with a bang. He's going to go after Skyhook for killing his son. So is Superwoman. And at the end of the issue, we get a three-way battle between them. Skyhook, Crash, and Superwoman. Superwoman beats Skyhook and reveals that she has her powers back, and that's where we leave off. So, pretty surprising. I really wasn't expecting her to get her powers back so quickly. They were inside of her the whole time. Which, go figure.
Yeah.
Kind of a cliche answer there. It was always inside you.
You had it all along.
Yeah. But I don't know. Atomic Skull's hilarious, man. This guy's just like he's great, man. Like the favorite part, he's just like he's chasing down Shockwave. He's just like, come on, Shockwave. It'll be way less painful if you just stop now, and it's fantastic. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so I've come to really, really enjoy this book. I think Kay Perkins is a fantastic writer who has a great feel on Lana Lang and who she is and the characters in this book. What do y'all think of it?
Yeah, I really liked it too. The art is just beautiful
It is.
to look at as well. I mean, that's one of the huge things. The only thing I slightly nitpick at is that she looks too much like Starfire when she has her powers, because she gets that reddish color on her skin, and her hair almost seems to catch on fire, and it's really cool, but it just looks so much like Starfire.
But then, like, you have like a supermodel looking redhead superhero.
Right, eventually they're all going to start looking alike.
Yeah. I mean, it's like when you strip down like Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent to normal people clothes, they both look very similar.
Right, you really have to have Bruce like in a millionaire's tie or something, and Clark in a real
to the point,
hick
like
outfit.
the only way that you know them apart is like one of them has a scowl on their face and the other one is like smiling. That's it. So.
Yeah, but I do agree that Atomic Skull's a gem of a villain, and I love that he's just kind of like the token villain of this series. It really adds
hero. I mean, he's not even like an anti-hero anymore. He's like straight up working for the good, like looking for brownie points from the police captain.
Right.
Like, I just want that gold star on my fridge. Man.
He's
like,
he reminds me a little bit like of Lobo.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Although, like, I don't know, Lobo's been annoying the crap out of me lately in Justice League of America because Steve Orlando just doesn't know how to write him. But like, I get what you mean. Like, very stylized, like, kind of funny villains. So, what did you think of this, Ariel?
One thing on nitpick, I kind of had the same problem with Nightwing. I feel like the relationship between the hero and the commissioner, they try really hard to get that Batman-Gordon relationship. Yeah. And it always falls short to me. I don't need all this interaction. It's not going to be the same,
right?
But other than that, I really like the book. I have a hard time liking Lana. I don't know, it just seems easy. Like, we want a female Superman, so I don't know.
I don't know. I don't even really see her as Superwoman, honestly. I kind of like, because she's not Kryptonian. She has no real like connection to Superman. Like no huge. I mean, she was a character.
She's right. I mean, she's definitely it's one of his established female supporting cast members outside of Lois Lane. So I like that they plucked something from the old, and tried to do or whatever. But at the same time, I don't know. In Superwoman, you just always think either actually Lois Lane or the evil crime syndicate Superwoman, and so then it's like, this is our third one, and we'll grab Lana Lang this time. So.
See, I would get behind Lois Lane as Superwoman. Well, because I love Lois Lane as a person. Right. So I think her as Superwoman would be badass. But
see, I don't want that. And that's not because
that just goes to show you can't satisfy everybody in the comic book.
See, I think Lois Lane should be something else. Like, I don't know. I think she would be really cool if they, like, made her... Because I love Lois Lane, but I think she would be really great, like, if they made her into, like, a new character or something. I don't know. Because I just love Lois. I feel like she could embody, like... she's such a wise ass, and she can just tell Superman what's what, and like to me she's like a strong enough character that I think they could totally take her in a new direction, and she's one of the few people that I think like I would be okay with them taking her in a new direction. So
and what is it in All-Star Superman when she gets powers for a little bit?
Yeah, that was so fun.
Right.
Oh man, I love in All-Star Superman when the two gods are having a contest to win Lois's affection. Do you remember that at all? Oh man, it's have you read All-Star Superman?
No,
it's good. You actually like it.
Yeah. It's they won Eisner Awards for it, and so I mean it's fantastic. Otherworld stories. So we do have a rating system here where we like to rate the comic books that we read. I'll play that rating system so you know what I'm talking about.
If a comic book is bad, we rate it as blasphemy. If the book is good, we give our blessing. If the book is not bad, not good, but just kind of meh, we rate it as stuck in purgatory. If the book is great, we rate it as holy. And if a comic book exceeds all standards of awesomeness, we rate that book as salvation.
All right, and I don't feel like this book deserves a salvation by any means, but I do think it surprised me a great deal. I felt like I came into the series thinking it was going to be a purgatory or a low blessing for me, and it's just shocked me. So I think I'm at wholly on this, honestly.
Oh, nice.
I think there's enough comedic relief in it, enough action. I care enough about the characters. I can give it a wholly. So
Yeah.
what would you guys say?
Very cool. I kind of went back and forth a little bit. I ended up going with a blessing, but I mean, an enthusiastic one. It was very good. But I think what gave it a blessing was kind of what you said, Ariel, about the interaction with the commission. Just like it got wordy there when I would prefer action or something like that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm with the blessing too. I don't care about Lana yet.
I know it's a hard sell for you, Ariel. I know that. You since the beginning, you haven't been super into it. So, all right, that's cool. Well, we will move things on to one of my next favorite books of the week. Seriously, this was awesome. We got Red Hood and the Outlaws number 12.
This was a great book, Red Hood and the Outlaws number 12. The story, of course, by Scott Lobdell, and the art, of course, by Dexter Soy. This is called The Life of Bizarro Part 1. And like I mentioned in the beginning, it's just got an amazing homage cover. It's the Bizarro logo, which is a backward Superman sign, and it's bleeding just like the 90s Death of Superman polybagged comic book, which was amazing. So
I can't believe I didn't catch that when I opened this up to read it.
Oh,
too.
right.
I should have known how this was going to go.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of spells it out for you right there on the cover before you even open it up. But,
yeah.
Okay. Anyway, after all the Outlaws had been through, they finally got the Bowl of Ra, which is what they were after. And at the end of their first mission, Bizarro collapses. And as we expect, Bizarro isn't exactly dead yet, but he's certainly not in very good shape. And as it turns out, the Outlaws are now considered international war criminals, so they can't exactly take Bizarro to Star Labs for a checkup. Ma Gun's home for the criminally infirmed, which also serves as a secret hideout for the Outlaws, will have to do. But, as Ma Gun points out, Bizarro's cells are deteriorating at a very rapid rate, and he needs more care than they can provide. Since Kryptonian cells are nearly impossible to clone, Jason confesses he knew it was just a matter of time before Bizarro died. But that doesn't make it any easier, no matter how well he mentally prepares. Artemis, usually brash and emotionless, feels compassion for her new friends. The time for sadness must wait, however, as Ma Gun suddenly rushes into the room with some bad news. Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday, has escaped Arkham Asylum and is on a rampage a mere 5 blocks away. Red Hood and Artemis try to take down Grundy, but the undead monster proved to be more than the former Robin and Amazon can handle. Meanwhile, back at Ma Gun's, even in a coma, Bizarro could hear the beatdown his friends were taking at the hands of Solomon Grundy. Ma Gun warns Bizarro that if he leaves to help them, he will die because he's too sick to fight. In a single, tear-jerking panel, Bizarro says he knows, but his friends are more important.
I love this panel where Solomon Grundy is holding up the dunk tank, and the clowns inside just terrified.
Help me!
Yeah.
And just when it looks like Jason's about to be killed again, this time by Solomon Grundy, Bizarro flies in at supersonic speeds and puts the grammatically incorrect beatdown on the nursery rhyme-themed villain. Even with Grundy down and out, Bizarro keeps punching to protect his friends. When Artemis tells Bizarro it's time for them to go home, Bizarro replies by telling them he's already home, because he's with them. And with that, Bizarro appears to die, this time for real.
He calls him Cinnamon Grumby.
Cinnamon Grumby,
So great.
But with the sudden arrival of Lex Luthor, perhaps this isn't the end of our anti-hero after all.
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, and I do wonder what's up with that. I wonder if Lex Luthor was the one at the very beginning of the book who was
Jason's got some kind of a stalker or something going on too. I mean, there's this mysterious guy that got Solomon Grundy to purposely attack. But there's also this letter that Ma Gun found when Bizarro burst out of the criminally infirmed place and knows that Jason's got himself into some things. So it's not quite sure who that is. It could be Luthor, but I'm sort of...
What's the return address on that letter?
I thought it said Arkham Asylum, did it?
Oh,
I can't remember for sure now, though, but...
Yeah, I'm getting there. Sorry.
But that's all good. But Lex Luthor, kind of created Bizarro, and in some versions, I'm not sure exactly where we sit in Rebirth, but the New 52, he created him, and he was Project B0, which is where they took the name Bizarro from.
Oh, okay.
In the New 52, that they just conveniently
The return address on this is Gotham City Jail.
Oh, Gotham City Jail. Okay. So
which, yeah,
it could,
crazy.
yeah, it could be.
Yeah, I wonder what the deal is with that,
anything,
or if there's a connection between that and the thing at the beginning where someone was paying Solomon Grundy. You know, I don't know.
And honestly, my thought too is, remember, we still have this guy that has the pictures of all of them.
Yeah,
that I thought might be Rorschach.
Yeah, we were thinking that. Although I don't.
This makes me think it's less likely to be him if that is the same person. But I do think that whoever's got the pictures of him and has been watching them has orchestrated this for some reason. But that's just my theory. I mean, obviously.
I think Jeff Johns is like hell bent on like he doesn't want Watchmen characters appearing in any book except for his books. Like,
right.
He made it a point to say like, I don't want Dr. Manhattan showing up for the first time in Action Comics. Like he talks like that would be cheap or something, when it's like that would actually be kind of cool.
It'd be like,
fun. Can we take a break for a second? He's kind of ruined the like fun for me, because like every book
you've been looking for things.
Yeah, I know nothing's there.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's kind of like taking a little bit of fun out of the books, because like
the treasure hunt's gone. We've been on a wild goose chase this whole time.
Exactly.
A way to kind of piss you off a little bit.
Yeah. I've been annoyed about this for weeks.
I wish he wouldn't have come out and said that in public. And like, I mean, he did it right before the end of the button, so he spoiled like the last part of the button with it too. Like the day before it came out, he went out and said this, and it was like.
And we know exactly when he's going to show up. We know exactly where, when, why. Like,
I didn't even think Dr. Manhattan was at the center of everything. You know, I thought it was Ozymandias and some other, like the Anti-Monitor or something. So, yeah, that's okay. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah,
sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
it's just how they handle these things. Sometimes it's like you wish they would have maybe consulted a publicist or something.
Right. Yeah. Or at least have like a fan panel to run things.
Exactly. So.
But okay, anyway, back to Red Hood. Why do comic books lately make me just cry all the time? This was so sad. The whole just was so sad. And you like kind of know Bizarro's not dead, but you don't really know that, but you kind of do. But it doesn't make it any less sad. You just the whole friendship and me, I'm home because me with you, you know. And all
or
this
the
stuff.
Doll when you say take care of the doll.
Take care of the doll. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, my heart broke. It was just. In a good way, so you know what I mean. It was just what a good book, and what a salvation, just in general, and that's what I rated it. I mean, it just is always a good book.
I am 100% salvation on this one. I think like I very rarely give that out anymore, but this book just has something going for it. Man.
It does.
It's this dark, stylized book that fits perfectly. The artwork is just a smash hit. It's beautiful. I care about every single character in it. Like, there's not a character that I could take or leave in this book.
They're all three so integral to the way it works. And I feel like they try to pull off buddy books. You know, you got Super Sons and, of course, Batman and Superman and everything else. But, like, this is the best buddy book they got out there right now.
I don't know, man. I think this deserves an Eisner.
Yeah.
I do. What would you rate? I know you're not doing Salvation, Ariel.
No, I'm not. But I'm very impressed with the writer, because I hate Jason Todd.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I hate his guns. I hate his face. I hate his jokes. Like, I read him back when he was Robin.
Right.
And I hated him as Robin.
Oh, funny, yeah.
Like, so I'm impressed with this writer, because I was really into the story. And I think it's because I love Bizarro so much, because he reminds me of a kid. I'm like, oh, look at this little boy. I give it a holy. Surprisingly.
I like Artemis a lot too.
Yeah, I mean,
it's such a trifecta. I love Red Hood, but I do understand that a lot of people who read Red Hood back in the 90s and early 2000s probably hate him. And that's not Red Hood's fault. That's just the fault of, like, they just wrote him badly. They gave him terrible dialogue. The fans voted to kill him.
I think he has the terrible, unfortunate job of following Dick Grayson as Robin.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nobody was going to survive that. Mm-hmm. Nobody was going to survive that.
Even when he's humorous, I'm like, oh, that feels more of like a Dick thing to say. When he's smart, I'm like, I feel like they took that from Tim.
Oh,
like,
right.
I'm always comparing him to the other Nightwings. So.
Yeah, but like I think like the fact that he's not really part of the Bat family as much, like he is, but he's an outsider.
He's the cousin that you don't always mention it.
Yeah,
when you talk about
exactly. So I think like that's what makes him cool to a lot of people, and I think there is a very much a cult following for Red Hood.
I mean, I like him just because I grew up in reading. I was at the age where I was reading it, and I, of course, remember all of that and the number you to call and everything. And I was on the. I mean, I guess I didn't like him or dislike him back then, but having read his evolution throughout the years makes me like him a lot. So he's I like how he's grown.
Yeah,
I
that makes
like
sense.
Guns. Whenever a hero uses guns, it bores me to death.
But it does give him and Batman something to not
argue about.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm half and half on guns. I think as long as they aren't like relied upon too much, I guess. Like I feel like he doesn't. Yeah, he's not Deadshot. You know, I mean, he uses guns, but he's also very skilled in other ways. So.
He's got his Death Blades or not Death Blades, Soul Blades or whatever.
He's like Batman if Batman was like an assassin, but like not a bad guy. So it's weird, man. I don't know. Yeah, I still like him. So, all right, we'll move things on though to New Superman number 13.
Written by Jean Wen Yang, artist Billy Tan, inks Haining, and colors are Gadson. So a distraught Kenan tries to come to grip with the fact that Dr. Omen is actually his mom. Before he can even process it, Emperor Superman sweeps in and steals her away. No, not in a romantic sort of way, literally swoop and snatch. As Kenan's emotions get the better of him, he can feel his powers fade. He must keep his Q in check if he's to stand a chance in this fight. As the Emperor gets away, Kenan remembers something and rushes to the lab, where he learned his father was. So both his parents are alive, which is crazy.
Wow, yeah, because his mom being dead was like the basis of the entire story.
Right, I remember that from the beginning. Yeah.
But as they ride, they see the tube busted open and his dad nowhere to be seen. Kenan must now reassemble and reassess. So meanwhile, elsewhere, I feel like I say the word meanwhile in my reviews so much.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it.
The comic books lend themselves to that story.
Yeah,
I mean, because it
they
does.
do,
Like,
very
meanwhile,
much.
while this is happening, elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So, a captured and tied up Dr. Omen faces I Ching and the Emperor. There, she learns of her husband's state. They tell her Dr. Omen to free all the prisoners or they will boil her husband alive. With no real choice, Dr. Omen does what she has to do. Next, we see some legendary Chinese versions of some of the worst villains emerge from the ocean depths. Which, I don't know how I feel about to see all these carbon copies, but it was kind of cool seeing them like rise from the ocean. Right. Anyway, a new, empowered, and ready-to-fight Kenan leads his team to take back China. Again, this is one of my favorite books going on right now. I'd just like to say, I hate making titles for my reviews, so I've been putting like the most ridiculous titles, waiting for someone to call me out, and no one has. So I put song titles, movie titles. I put one for mommy issues. I don't
funny.
care anymore.
Yeah, well.
I said it before and I'll say it again. I think this is the best written book in DC right now. Just like, not even plot, just like, I don't know, artistically written. It's just amazing.
It's a great book. I really hope that sales go up for it because it's like, I don't know. It's one of the only mainly focused Asian cast books in DC. I think it's the only one really in the main slew of books. I mean, there may be some Young Animal stuff that I'm not aware of, but so I don't know. I hope that it stays where it's at. I haven't read it for a while, but I kind of go on and off, and I just read in spurts. Like I'll read like 6 or 7 issues, and then I'll stop for a while. So I don't know. I've always really enjoyed this one. I think the writer's fantastic. Bogdanovich was the artist on this, and he got signed exclusive to DC, and they made an artist change after that. Now he draws for Action Comics. So now it's Billy Tan and Haining drawing for it. So I don't know. What do you think of it, Noah?
I have a hard time. I haven't read it, and I have a hard time wanting to get it. This is my problem is it is so good. The writer. I mean, you obviously love it. It's just known for good writing, but it doesn't get too much of a chance with readers like me because other than the occasional crossover with Superman or Action Comics, it seems like it's not even in the same universe as the rest of the DC world. So it's almost like it's a Dark Horse book or something. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't count with the world I'm invested in, and I feel like if they really wanted to make that, we'd have some occasional crossover into some other books to make them feel more a part of the shared universe that they are all in. And I am kind of with you on the carbon copies, the Justice League of China. I was a little on the fence on that in the first place, but it is cool to see, you know, different versions. And like you said, it was cool to see that thing that looked like Poison Ivy maybe crawling up out of the water and that Bane-like dude and stuff like that. But at the same time, would China really have copies of Americans?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they'd have their own spontaneous, you know.
Yeah.
And
so especially the villains. I can see them basing heroes on, you know, whatever. But yeah, the villains would be
because the heroes were made in a lab,
right?
But like the villains are like self-made,
right?
So you're like, not all these people are just like, oh, I want to be the American version of this.
Exactly.
And it's almost like an insult to like Chinese culture. It's like, you know, all of our heroes and villains aren't their own thing. We just copied America. It's like, really, like. None of them?
Because the issue before was so amazing because they introduced a lot of their own cultural stories. Like they did that.
The Wonder Woman had a lot of potential.
See, and that was new and fresh and very Chinese, and I love that. I still gave this a salvation. I freaking love this story. No, I wish he would go back and raid because Luthor did come here for a while and was trying to control Keenan.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess you're right. Like if they
it just still keeps it all in Superman.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, the majority of the DCU takes place in America. Right. So it's like, yeah, it feels like it's in another world, but really it's just in another country. Right. And it's like not.
But there's enough. I just feel like there's enough globe trotting in the.
There is, yeah. I mean, yeah, you
could have, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he's in Action Comics right now. But you know, yeah.
But that's that, you know.
You wish Wonder Woman, or
like a guest appearance in Titans, or just
something like that.
Know.
Yeah, some random.
Especially with his age. I mean,
right, exactly.
I think that would be perfect. Some potential. Yeah. So
I would love to see him and Damian interact.
Ooh, that could be fun
really
too.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun. Yeah, that would be really fun. All right, we will move things on to Batgirl and the Birds of Prey number 12. So Batgirl and the Birds of Prey number 12 story on this one is by J&S Julie and Shauna Benson. Arts by Roge Antonio and Pasalacqua. So Batgirl and the Birds have decided to help get Calculator's family back from TerraCare. So now they need to track down Catwoman because she was the agent that the Calculator used to steal something from TerraCare. So Batgirl calls up Bruce and asks him to set up a meeting between her and Catwoman. Catwoman and Batgirl meet up and they fight a little bit at first, but then Catwoman decides to hear Batgirl out because there's hostages involved. Turns out Catwoman was stealing some vial from TerraCare, which they're like a fertilizer company, for Poison Ivy, who is working undercover at TerraCare and trying to take it down from the inside. This whole time, Canary and Huntress have been undercover at TerraCare, and that's when the fertilizer really hits the fan, and they find Poison Ivy, who starts attacking. Yeah, you like that?
That's good.
And they find Poison Ivy, who starts attacking everyone at TerraCare. Catwoman, Batgirl, Calculator, and Oracle show up at TerraCare, and at the end of the book, they're all about to break in and save the other birds and the hostages from Poison Ivy, and that's how we leave off. So I thought it was a really great book. I think, you know, involving Catwoman. I really like this thing where, like, someone just drops into the book for an issue or two and then drops out. You know, having Dick Grayson and Green Arrow just drop in for a sec. Like, it's always fun because it feels like the Birds of Prey are always, like, supporting cast members in other people's books. So it's nice to have those main characters drop in and have the tables turn and be like, have those characters be supporting cast members for Birds, you know, and like that's cool to me. So I always love Batgirl. She's always a favorite part. I think the artwork's beautiful. They kind of shifted tones a lot in this book. We went from like a nighttime scene to like a daytime scene where Catwoman and Batgirl are fighting. And it was kind of funny, like when Catwoman walked up and thought Batgirl was Batman, and she was like, "Oh, I thought that was weird that you wanted to meet me in the middle of the day,
morning."
Yeah. So. And Poison Ivy being involved is obviously always a win for me. I love having her involved. So I don't know. I think I'm at probably wholly on this one. I really enjoyed it. What would y'all think?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
I love this panel because like all the people are trapped with the kids she doesn't touch.
Poison Ivy. Because she's not all that bad. I mean, she's not
a bad person.
She doesn't mind a few casualties. if it means the greater good of the Earth is being protected. But
exactly.
This had another issue of where they paid homage to something that's happened in the past. Well, not necessarily paid homage, but reference. I was surprised to see that when Batgirl and Catwoman were talking on the roof, and you were just getting the hint that she was referring to Poison Ivy because she was talking about, she helped me when I was in a bad... years ago, I found myself in a little trouble. Not that uncommon. And it shows a picture of Catwoman being held by the...
Yeah, what was the deal with this?
I want to say his name's Bone Crusher. I can't remember 100% for sure. But one of my favorite series, albeit short-lived, was Gotham City Sirens. And that was pre-New 52, pre-Flashpoint. It ended with Flashpoint. But it was basically the Birds of Prey, but with Harley Quinn, Catwoman, and Poison Ivy.
Okay.
And this one-off villain was named Bone Crusher and had these gloves that let him just crush bone like paper or whatever. And and Catwoman crossed paths with him, and Poison Ivy and Harley, who were roomies together and stuff at the time, saved Catwoman from him. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that's pre-Flashpoint, and they still kind of kept that in continuity. So
I dig it.
Just as a fan that has read all the Gotham Girl books, throughout the years. I loved seeing that, and just having Poison Ivy be so badass is makes me incredibly happy because
totally.
I gave it a Salvation. I had 2 Salvations this weekend.
Man.
Both of them were that, and I just loved that the girls are such the focus of the book, and Poison Ivy's in her old school costume, but none of it's over sexualized. It's all just straightforward, good art. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it really is.
I had 2 thumbs up on my end. Yeah, I just am obviously raving, so I loved it.
Yeah, I'm at a strong holy on it. I mean, it's not quite a salvation for me. I think the reason Red Hood and the Outlaws was a salvation for me was because it was like the end of a story arc,
right?
And it was just such a masterfully done ending. Here we're right at that ending, and I think next issue will be the end.
Yeah, and see, I get excited, I guess, at the climax.
Yeah,
I feel like this is we're at the peak. So
I really hope it pays off on the last issue, which I think is going to be the next one. So yeah, we'll wait and see. What did you think, Ariel?
I love how the artist does body, because in Nightwing it always seems awkward, but here where Catwoman's doing a flip, that's so cool.
Yep.
And then when she sees Oracle, she's like, who are these, the nerds of Prey?
That was awesome.
Great.
I give it a holy. I love Barbara in this. I never cared about Huntress or Canary, and this book has totally flipped me. I love them now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, I always love to see people loving Batgirl and her books. So, all right, we will move things on to Noah's favorite female character, and that is Wonder Woman number 26.
All right, here it goes. Wonder Woman number 26. The story is by Shea Fontana, and the art is by Mirka Andolfo. This starts brand new story arc after Greg Rucka's run. This is called Heart of the Amazon, Part 1. I thought the book had a very appropriate opening. We were just talking about other ways that the Wonder Woman movie could be set, and we had mentioned the Middle East would be a great scenario for her. And this book opens with her in Greece. I mean, I know it's not exactly the Middle East, but it's a UN refugee camp. And I really admire the way that Shea Fontana chose to introduce Diana in this way, because like we just said, I always thought that if she was really around today, she'd spend her time doing things like that. And that they introduced a mother, and a hijab and everything. I just think it was very, very timely, and it was just exactly kind of what I wanted to see. So I hope she continues to kind of explore that throughout the next couple issues. But a lot of this is basically dealing with the fact that superheroes can't save everybody all the time, including Wonder Woman. And so we get a little bit of a little princess thing with her, and we get some flashbacks of Diana on the island. And I really like that we get to see that she showed the island again, because it's been cemented in Rucka's run that once she left, she was gone. There was no going back. And the Amazons and Hippolyta are such a great part of Wonder Woman's cast that it's hard to incorporate them and still keep that. So to see flashbacks of Diana's childhood, I thought was a good way to keep her cast going. But then we see Diana accompany her friend Etta Candy to a wedding. And this is where I kind of started to have a little, what's going on here? Because Rucka's arc ended with Etta
being pissed.
Super pissed off at Diana. Super pissed over basically the loss of Barbara Ann Minerva, who had become the cheetah who Etta thinks is Wonder Woman is to blame. So to see the two of them hang out like nothing happened seemed a little out of place to me.
That seemed weird to me too.
But the issue ended up being okay. I mean, it ends with Wonder Woman at the wedding discovering a bomb at the reception, and it's only got 1 second left on the countdown. And so we circle right back around to what we saw at the beginning at the refugee camp. Wonder Woman can help many, but can she save them all?
Yeah.
And next one's called Wonder Woman Down. So
there were a couple of nitpicks I had, like. There was this one part where, like, the guy tried to give her a flyer for the, softball game.
And she got mad at him,
and she flips out on him, and, like, I don't know, man. Like, that just seems weird to me, because it's, like, she's in a bit, like, there's nothing threatening about this guy. He was just, like, walking up and, like, handing out flyers.
And, she writes high school Diana like that, because, she writes DC Superhero Girls, and she does a great, job, but the teen Diana, is trying to learn to be a leader, so sometimes she's impulsive, and that works really good for a teenage character. But this Wonder Woman is not so impulsive that she's going to grab a guy with brochures and think he's... I don't know what she was thinking.
And the way that she wrote Wonder Woman, and you remember when she wrote that Justice League issue, too, a couple weeks back?
Oh, vaguely.
Shea Fontana?
Yeah.
She wrote her, like... someone tried to give her a high five, and, like, she acted weird about that. Like, she's still trying to understand our customs and stuff, but it's like she's been a part of this society for a long time. So, I mean, she understands our customs. She's not a fish out of water necessarily anymore.
And plus, she has the wisdom of Athena. I mean, she can, can figure most things out.
I don't know. I feel like... Maybe I hope Shea Fontana read Rucka's whole run.
I'm sure she. I don't know. I just feel like she's starting to fall into some of the tropes that some writers use that fail with Wonder Woman, and that's kind of the angry Wonder Woman and the impulsive ones. So, but her themes are there and are good. I mean, I appreciate the theme she's going with, and it will be interesting to see how Wonder Woman deals with not being perfect all the time. But when it all came down to it, I'll get it out there. It was a blessing for me. It was far from awful or anything like that, but is obviously, as we've been talking, far from fantastic either. So, but I'm interested to see where it's going to go.
Yeah, I'm at a blessing too. I think like I had nitpicks. At the end of the day, that's all they were. Yeah. I don't think there's anything special about this right now for me, unfortunately. And I think like it's kind of almost like an uphill battle for Shea Fontana because she's following something that was very special. I mean, Greg Rucka
she's the Jason Todd of the Wonder Woman.
Yeah, she is. She very much is. Yeah, I mean, she's just following Greg Rucka, which is like, I mean, he was following Azzarello, and it's like, oh man, that's a tough gig to follow. So
yeah, he took big footprints and made even bigger ones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
so,
and he left after 25 issues. So I don't know. I think all that being said, and given her track history with writing, that all she's written for has been DC Superhero Girls and one issue of Justice League. I think she's doing all right, man. I'm going to cut her some slack. I give her a blessing. Yeah. So what do you think, Ariel?
The whole doctor scene really threw me off. It felt very unnecessary. I'm like...
Some of it felt like forced,
Yeah, like a space filler almost.
Yeah.
Like she wanted to get to the party, but she needed more pages.
Right.
I don't know. And then the Anakin thing bothered me so much. There's nothing I hate more than when the next story just completely ignores the last one.
Yeah. And that's what like makes me wonder if Shea Fontana read... like. I really hope she read the Rucka. Like, it seems like if I was jumping into a series and I'm a new comic book writer or kind of getting into the big leagues, I'm going to read all the issues before that.
But with her number 1 following his number 25, do you think she might not have been able to see, like, the final couple of issues when she had to start writing it? So maybe... I'm just trying to play devil's advocate a little bit.
I think she would have to, though. I think DC would make it so that like she has to, or at least they talk or email. Yeah. They both work for the same place.
Or at least the editors, or they say make sure nothing too blatant.
Like if I'm Greg Rucka and I'm leaving Wonder Woman and DC tells me who's picking it back up, which hopefully they would, you'd think like there would be some emails exchanged, like, hey, here's where I'm leaving things off with Wonder Woman, just so you know where we're picking up or whatever.
And to be honest, they could have called each other on the phone and made up in a week's time.
Yeah,
but that just seemed contrary to what Rucka led us to believe was going to happen between the two of them, because you just really got the impression that they were going to be,
I think we're in some middle ground here too, because there is a big event coming for Wonder Woman in a few issues. So I think we're kind of in a lull here, where it's just like this is almost just like a placeholder,
filler, right?
Yeah. So.
But I gave it a blessing. I'm hoping she's just finding her footing and it'll get better and she'll get more confident. Right now, I don't know. It's kind of disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it's I'm not hating on it too much. It's just like kind of meh, like
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's okay, I guess. So, all right, we'll move things on to Supergirl number 11.
Written by Steve Orlando, artist by Brian Ching, and colors by Michael Atea. I think I'm getting better at names.
I know, same here.
Supergirl is trying to convince Gale that she is there to help her, but Gale has been scorned one too many times. Cadmus used her to control the Phantom Zone, and Adu tried to harness her power to escape the zone. So yeah, it's pretty understandable that she's skeptical of Kara. Meanwhile, and that's the word again, a very angry Adu confronts Batgirl in bed. Even with only having partially gained some of Kara's abilities, he's still a major threat to a normie. Unfortunately for him, and lucky for us, Barbara Gordon is no normie. Batgirl is able to coax Adu into telling his true feelings. All he cares about is himself and his attempt to escape. His peers are worthless and only there to help him for the time being. What he didn't know was that his sheep were right there listening. Angered at the betrayal, the crew takes on their captain. Just as that happens, Kara is able to release Gale from her anger. Gale then swiftly sends Adu adrift. Kara and Babs take a breath from all they've been through and wonder what will happen in the Phantom Zone. They also remind each other that they'll always be there for one another. Kara heads back to Miss Grant's office. There she finds something awful waiting for her. ... her death? That's that.
Yeah,
that's it.
I liked it. Did
I
you
liked
guys
it.
read it?
Yeah, I read it.
The ending
didn't
kind
read
of
it yet.
shocked me because I was like, wait, what?
With Cat shooting her at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because her and Cat were fine, weren't they?
I thought so.
I don't remember anything about Cat Grant, like, being evil or anything.
Right.
Yeah, I'm hoping the next issue picks up a new story.
I'm sure that will be explained because it is so out of left field.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the cliffhanger to end it on, of course.
Yeah.
I really liked how this series ended. I think is really appropriate. Batgirl did her fight and Supergirl did her fight. They both had time to shine. Sorry, I feel like I'm popping a lot. Am I?
No, you're good.
Alright, sorry. But I think, yeah, it ended well. It wasn't, like, magnificent or anything.
Right.
It was a good ending.
The highlight of it was Supergirl and Batgirl together.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty
just because that's so awesome, and it doesn't happen near enough. I'd love to see when they had Super Sons. I'd like to see Super Sisters and have like Batgirl and Supergirl have a book together.
Yeah,
I'd read
be really
that.
cool.
That'd be cool. But
Yeah, I think my favorite part was at the end when they were just talking.
yeah,
They're just
for
talking
sure.
to
Yep,
each other.
I really like that too for some reason. I don't even want to say this is nitpicking, but it's just my brain thinking is I'm so kind of on the fence on just the whole Phantom Zone thing. I didn't really expect humans to be able to survive the Phantom Zone. I just almost thought it'd be like being in space or something where, but maybe they can. I don't know. It was
Yeah.
They kind of touched on that a little bit in the very when they first got there.
Yeah.
Because Ben was like freezing cold and
right.
he couldn't concentrate.
And that was part of the punishment or whatever
Yeah,
that you just
yeah.
felt. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't know that human DNA would be able to withstand.
And the
Kryptonian.
Phantom Zone has been like a thing in a couple books this week. Brad pointed that out, but yeah, I mean, it's like, I think who got sent there in Action Comics? Like a lot of people. But did any humans though?
No. Well, the Eradicator, and I guess he's not really human.
No, he's a robot.
Supers.
Men's, yeah.
Yeah, for some reason I thought Lois and John did, but no, they didn't.
No.
Kong Keenan did, and he's human, but he's genetically altered or whatever.
Right.
But he's not like Kryptonian or anything. So, cool. Did you rate it?
Yeah, I gave it a holy.
Yep. Oh, and I give it a blessing. I mean, it's
cool.
just a cartoony style of the art. It's just meant for a different group than me, but yeah.
For sure. All right, cool. We will move things on to our final book of the evening, which is Suicide Squad number 12.
All right, Suicide Squad number 12, story by Rob Williams and art by Gus Vasquez. Previously, Rick Flag is dead, and Harley Quinn has been chosen as a new replacement leader of the Suicide Squad. Her first mission, take out Director Karla of the Russian Annihilation Brigade. The book, for some reason, actually, I won't say for some reason because I'm sure we'll find out, but the book opens with Amanda Waller receiving some interesting news, and her daughter, Coretta, who we've met a couple issues ago, is pregnant with a girl. Amanda Waller will have a granddaughter who will probably grow up to hate her.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So, the mission at hand. Harley Quinn's first day as squad leader starts to fall apart quickly. For starters, the peanut-talking Cosmonut, and by the way, I think I got the connection here. He talks, with a peanut, And he's not Cosmonaut, N-A-U-T. He's Cosmonut,
Oh.
N-U-T. So
Okay.
maybe that's where
He says his
I
name.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Still have
But
no idea what
still
he's
no
saying.
idea. Yeah, but he refuses to betray Director Carla, and we do get to find out what he's saying because now, finally, after all this time, the Enchantress decides to cast a spell so we can understand what he's saying. Where was that 5 issues ago
Wow.
when we were talking peanut?
Yeah,
Peanut.
I know, right?
It was funny. But Harley orders him killed, because that's what Harley does. He's elusive for a dude with a giant hammer for a face, but Harley herself kicks him in his claw-footed head and smashes him with her giant mallet. And she smashes him again. And she smashes him again, and again, and again, and oh my god, stop hitting him! He's dead for God's
Yeah.
sake. And that's
So
pretty
that's
much what the
what
rest
she
of the
does,
squad was
so.
thinking, yeah. So now we'll hit our official Star Wars reference. It's a trap!
Not the only Star Wars reference this week, actually, too.
Couple of them, nice. That was the only one I got.
Yeah, at the end of Batgirl and the Birds of Prey, at the very last page, she says, man, hold on. The odds of Catwoman dating you are 6 million to 1. Never tell me the odds.
Oh, yep, for sure. That's good. Han Solo.
Yeah.
Okay. So Director Carla knew that the Suicide Squad was going after him because, of course, he's the Russian version of Amanda Waller, so they each are 4 steps ahead of the other, so I don't know how that works. But so he sets a trap. It's the mother of all bombs, and it looks like the entire squad is about to go kaboom. Extra unfortunately, the Enchantress is completely unconscious after Cosmonut knocked her out with a headbutt just moments before Harley Quinn murdered him. Now, when Killer Croc refuses to try and wake the Enchantress, Harley orders Deadshot to shoot Killer Croc, because why not? That's what Harley does. After all, she thinks as she watches the timer tick down, we're all gonna die anyway. And the book ends with a double cliffhanger, because not only does the Suicide Squad have 4 seconds to live, but Amanda Waller has been kidnapped by Director Carla. And in a surprising twist, Director Carla informs Amanda Waller that together they're gonna, save the world? Up next...
Or their version of
Or
Save
their
the World,
version of it, right, yeah. Up next, a ballad for Boomerang.
Nice.
And so for me, Suicide Squad is finally moving full steam ahead, and I'm enjoying it. Some of my previous faults I found in it is just that it's been too static. You know, the team's been the same, nothing happens.
Yeah.
And now it's shook up. This is what I like about Suicide Squad. And now I'm curious, is Croc dead? Probably not, but maybe. I don't know.
Maybe, but I don't think so.
Yeah, probably not. But anyway, I've really enjoyed Suicide Squad lately, and it was a very strong holy for me. I really liked it.
Nice. What would you rate it, Ariel?
Man, I don't know, because, like, I wish there would have been a bigger transition period of Harley being, like, Goofy Harley to, like, freaking hardcore Harley.
But that's just how she is, though. I mean, she goes from goofy to just beating someone senseless, and even after they're dead, she just beats the corpse with a bat. Like, I mean, that's just how she acts, you know?
Yeah, but there's a difference between, like, I don't know, just being crazy and being, like, malicious or whatever.
Right.
She's a
Like-
serial killer.
Yeah,
she is a serial killer.
I agree, but I also agree that we often forget that because
how goofy she acts.
Right, you're right. They focus a lot on the goofiness of her, so we do forget that.
That's why I thought it was so weird when, like, her parents were coming to town in her book. It's like, are they just going to put aside the fact that this girl is a serial killer?
Yeah, do
like,
they have any idea?
I mean,
Sure,
like,
they've got to know that.
I mean, like, it's just it's such a weird thing with her because
she's got her own fan club in the DC
Yeah.
universe. You know what I mean?
But, and then, doesn't she always have, like, a weakness for love? Like, 'cause that's always her soft spot, is, like, love, right?
Sorta, yeah. I mean,
So,
she's
like-
got
her version.
codependency issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just weird to see her order kill. I don't know. I maybe I'm missing something.
And to me, a lot of that, though, I see that as the pressure getting to her. Because she didn't want to be the leader, and they made her the leader, and people follow her, and she's like... The pressure's on it. She's like, shoot people. And they follow her. They shoot her and do that, you know. And it's just kind of like,
I
that's
think
breaking loose.
having an issue watching her adjust to being a leader, maybe it would have worked better.
Yeah.
But I still give it a blessing. I mean, the art alone is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like Deadshot in this. I like how loyal he is to Harley.
He is really loyal to
which
her,
is
yeah,
weird,
yeah.
but it's awesome. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually gotta confess I haven't read this one yet,
that's
so
fine.
I just ran out of time and didn't get to it. But I am gonna be reading. I have a few books that after people's recaps I really want to go.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I don't have time, it's like nice because I'll hear the books from you guys, and like they'll tell me like, hey, you should read this, or don't bother with it
Yeah.
this week. So yeah. But that's all we got for y'all this week. So just perfect timing here. Do you guys have anything else?
Nope, we're good to go.
All right. Well, if you want to find us anywhere, we are on social media at Nerd Church Radio. You can find me on Twitter at IndieComicBen. Where can we find you, Noah?
You can find me on any social media site at Noah O'Toole.
And Ariel.
Ariel the Orco on Twitter.
Beautiful. And that's all we got. Have a good week, folks.
Bye.
Bye.